Happy Valentine's month, everybody. I'm the Sliders Review, and I'm here today to share with you some of my favorite Valentine's Day episodes from TV shows or even movies. Not everything is all lovey-dovey. Sometimes Valentine's Days deal with heartache and everything. So, some episodes will be romantic and lovey-dovey, while others will be very sad and heart-wrenching and stuff. But love is love. It doesn't always come with smiles and giggles and glee. So I'm here today to talk to you about Wizards of Waverly Play Season 3, Wizards versus Werewolf. Alright, I know it's not Valentine's Day no more. That was a couple of days ago. But I've been busy, and plus, I've been wanting to talk about this episode for the longest time, but then I forgot about this episode, and I forgot about it for this month, so I'm doing it now. Anyways, this episode is both loving and tragic. It's a very good, compelling episode that was a two-parter. It shows the return of Beth Midler, I believe her last name is, who plays Juliet. And congrats on her for owning her own satellite company. She is now by far the best former Disney Child star, period. Cause wow, man. Anyways, so this episode is so touching because it's been alluded to for, I think, a season or so, where Alex knows that she's supposed to fall in love with a person named Mason. But it is also loving because we get to see Juliet return. But it is also tragic because of what happens to both of them. And I'm so glad that the writers decided to go there, to decide to talk up to your audience as opposed to talk down to that of your audience. Now, you can find this on Disney Plus. Sadly, there are no Wizards DVDs for the most part. There are a couple of volumes and stuff. There's the movie editions, and then there is those crossovers. But other than that, it's never been a complete series or a complete season on DVD. And, this episode, I remember when it first aired. I feel like it aired at night. I don't remember this airing early in the day. But then again, I think this show always aired at night. But I remember it being a two-part 1 hour episode. And you can tell that this is a very much different type of episode. It's not completely brightly colored. It's in a widescreen format. It has a slightly darker lighting, and the music is very melodramatic, and the audio is very different for some bizarre reason. And I don't know exactly why that is. But if you remember early on, during the Wizards and Vampire episode, Justin is now a monster hunter. This is when we started seeing his appearance change and stuff to where he got a little bit more bulkier with muscles and stuff, and he wore his hair differently. This is because David Henry did not like playing the nerdy brother of goofy, nerdy, geeky kind of person. And so he started changing his appearance a little here and there, but still keeping that Justin goofiness, because you had to have it in there, But this is when we started seeing him be a little bit more manly and stuff. And remember that they introduced this family of vampires that competed with the Wizards in terms of restaurant business, where Justin fell in love with their daughter. And you recall that there was an episode where a mummy took her away, and he pined after her for so long and everything. He just missed her and missed her and missed her. That's because she had to be written off the show, because I believe she was getting her own show, or at least a Disney Channel movie at that point in time. I can't remember which one. I remember she did something called Lemonade something, and at some point in time they gave her own series, Good Luck Charlie. And so I think Good Luck Charlie might have came after this, I believe. I'm not really 100% sure. But anyways, so in this episode, you remember also that Alex met Future Harper, and Future Harper let the beans spill to "Are you still together with Mason?" And we had no idea who Mason was until he was later on introduced. And he's a guy who Alex fell in love with, and he is a werewolf. And so it isn't even revealed yet that she knows that he's a werewolf. We just know there's something different about him. And so when the family invited him over for like dinner and stuff, Harper's like the major D and all this other stuff. And like, he's getting to know the family, and like all of a sudden he has to like disappear. But then he gave Alex a very interesting necklace, a heart charm necklace that glows and stuff. And she's all like, and they all like, oh, this is kind of interesting that, it glows. And he made some excuse of, oh, it must run on batteries or something like that, not knowing that it's actually magical. And so when Alice gets very annoyed that like he's constantly running away and never telling her where he goes, she thinks he's cheating on her. And so like her and Harper corner him, and he turns into a werewolf. Well, halfway at least. And so he has two different transformations. There's the full one and there's the half one. And because they didn't run away, then he realized they must be magically inclined. Harper is not, but Alex is. So they start this relationship, and it's really nice and loving and stuff. And he reveals to her that the necklace only glows if the other person falls in love with you, as you fell in love with them. So that's really sweet and touching that this is her one true love and everything. Yeah, she used to like the other dude from, I forget his name, the bad boy mechanic dude, but he disappeared from the show. Nobody knows what the heck happened to him. And so then they later just kept her single for a good while, and then they introduced Mason. But Mason reveals after being a werewolf that he can track people down by their scent, because they see Justin all sad and depressed over Juliet. So they agree to go and look and find her. They defeat like the mummy and everything. The mummy has like mummy eyes, but they never really do anything with that. Like, you think it was setting up for something more bigger because the mummy eyes can hypnotize you, but nothing really comes of it. Then there is the shocker. When Mason sees that Juliet, they're like all happy and excited that they see each other, and you're just kind of like with Alex and Justin, like, what the heck is going on? Well, it turns out they knew each other from the past and they used to date. And of course, nobody wants to hear that, as they're dating currently. And so when they decide to like part and everything, Mason impulsively says, Juliet, I never stopped loving you. This is shock to Alex, who's pissed, and Justin is even more pissed and stuff, which causes problems between those two couples. Alex gets pissed and throws a necklace, and she later leaves. It turns out that werewolves are very impulsive and that they thrive on their emotions. And Alex tells him that, because she's never said she loves someone without meaning it. Like, she said she's done a lot of bad stuff, like make her parents forget that they was married, implying the movie is canon and stuff. And he's all like, look, let me just make it up to you, let's find the necklace and we can prove that I love you and only you, as you give it to me and stuff. So they go off and do that because she never wanted to talk to him again. But Max is just like, oh, dude, I wanted to be like your best friend, blah, blah, blah. And you should go talk to my sister and blah, 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 and stuff like that. So they run off and they go look for the necklace. When Justin finds out about this, he's pissed and he takes Juliet. And so as they're looking for the thing, he's telling Mason, yo, man, leave my sister alone. But the werewolf in him comes out and him and Justin fight. But this is when Juliet decides to intervene. We see her bat wings, and it's kind of interesting choreography. Let's put it like that. It's not the best action sequence, but at least it's something on Disney Channel standards. And so Alex is just like looking for like the necklace and all this other crap. And after everything's done and said, the necklace glows. He really does love her. But now there is a problem. While fighting each other, they bit each other, Mason and Juliet. And we think, oh, nothing's going to happen. But then we see by their reactions, oh, it's something major, right? And so it turns out that when a vampire bites a werewolf, they turn into an actual wolf. And when a werewolf bites a vampire, they age rapidly, showing their real age. And she's over like 1,000 something years old. or 100 or something like that. So he turns into a wolf and she turns into an old woman. And it's really heartbreaking because Justin and Juliet have finally found each other after all this time, and now they have to part. And they literally tell each other they don't want to have to leave each other, but they have to because she's now a super old woman and everything. And of course, Alex, she's devastated because Mason is now just a wolf and everything, as opposed to a human hybrid. And he runs off, and Juliet, like, okay, I don't want to make fun of old people, but you know how they walk really slow and wobbly and stuff like that. She wobbles off and everything. And it's even more heartbreaking when we see Alex and Justin just so sad and everything, because you normally don't see these characters this sad. Like, yeah, Alex would mess up and she'll look a little sad and Justin will help out, but you never really had an episode that really wanted to tug on your heartstrings and stuff, and this episode did that. And Alex and Justin, one of them says, promise me that we can have normal lives and fall in love with other people. And I think Justin tells her, I can't promise you that, because because their lives are just so different, because they're magically inclined and stuff, and they will never truly probably experience true love like they just did now. And if one of them were to fall in love with, like, say, like somebody who's not magically inclined, then they will have their powers stripped from them. But of course, there's the whole competition and stuff like that anyway. And so it just ended on a really sad and tragic like note. And I really appreciate that Disney Channel was willing to go there instead of making this all happy and stuff like that on a happy note. Now, of course, in future episodes or future seasons, I should say, they reverse Juliet's aging and make her normal, and they reverse Mason and turn him back into like a human hybrid werewolf. And we don't see Juliet no more, and I forget the reason why, but of course, like I said before, she was getting her own show. And for Mason, he stuck around on the show, but him and Alex had their ups and downs. They dated, they broke up, they dated again. I personally never liked the Mason and Alex relationship because he was always so demanding and jealous, and and when she moved out in her own apartment, he followed her and everything, and he became the stalkery boyfriend type. But they stayed together even up until like the TV special that came out after the series ended and stuff. One thing I like about this episode a lot is the different personality that we see Alex has. Like, we've seen her like people before and crush on them, but this is the first time where we see her actually like fall in love and want to do romantic stuff with like another person. A different side we normally don't get to see with Alex, because Alex is such a troublemaker and stuff. And it's even great to see her have her heart broken, because it shows a maturity level that she is growing, not only as like a person, but as a character in the show. Because Alex is pretty much so one-dimensional. She screws up, she goofs around, she's lazy and all this other stuff, she does bad things, and then her brother has to be the one to save the day, or sometimes she saves the day and stuff. In season 3, I really did like the character growth that they did give her all throughout season 3, especially when she started cutting her hair short and like started wearing high heels to make herself look taller. It gave her the character development that her character badly needed, because she was just the bad girl of the show, but also the main girl of the show. Now, wasn't that romantic? Or depressing, depending on what kind of video I just talked about. Okay, well, happy Valentine's Day, everybody. And bye.